Shit's different in this bitch. Fuck it. I ride. Got the top let down. Leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide, choking on that lead. 2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you. Ride. Got the top let down. Leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide, choking on that lead. 2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you. You see the European grills, so the lips glitz. Tank full of Theraflu, cause I be in them sick whips. Brick slip, roll with me, catch a contact. High definition popping, flipping out the armrest. See, I'm a rider, dipping in the catalog. Just got it fitted on some shit I need a ladder for. Come up in your hood stunting when I leave, dude.
2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you.
I can't deny, I feel I'm such a fly guy. Top chop, call him Sleepy Hollow when they ride by. I know the haters can't stand it. I ain't got a blemish on my Jolly Rancher can. Ride on, ride. Top let down. Weaving through the crowd with the bass up loud. Just slide, glide. On the slab when I creep. Take a bath or you put your ass on them seats. Ride. Got the top let down. Leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide. Choking on that lead. 2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you. Ride. Got the top let down. Leaning to the right with the bass up loud. I slide, glide. Choking on that lead. 2 miles per hour, so everybody sees you. Yeah, I hope you got big lungs if you're rolling with me. I roll quickly, roll minute, plus I'm rolling sticky. Hit the road with me, only push it to the 50, cruising through your city, super sharp.
What's happening with it? Y'all already know what it is. You tuned in to another episode of Everything Boxing. There you go, talking that boxing again. What it do? Yeah. Tap in. Let me know you in the building. Jump in the comments. Let me know you in the building. Make sure that y'all smash that like button when you do come in the building. And we definitely gonna cook today. We definitely cooking today. So let's see who we got in the building. Cash Crypto, what's happening with it? Salute. Yeah. Mike C, what it do? What we got going on in boxing this weekend? We ain't really got nothing going on, huh? Do we got anything going on in boxing this weekend? I'm trying to think. Do we got any boxing this weekend? Big Dog Willie, what's happening with it? Of course he can't. You know what I'm saying? Not unless they put him under some type of sedation or something. You know what I'm saying? Or he go in a coma. Jay Hizzy, what's happening with it? Salute. Yeah, y'all help me out. Do we got any boxing this weekend? This weekend, I know it's something going on I'm missing. What's going on this weekend in boxing? Hold on. I'm going to have to research it. Ain't nobody helping me out. Let me see. This week is, I think Michaela Mayer is fighting over there in the UK this weekend. I think she fighting, Natasha Jonas. I think that fight is this weekend. You know what? I know what I'm going to do. Let me go to this little betting site. It's going to tell me what fights we got this weekend. Thomas Morris, what's happening with it? Salute. Bruce Gas, the OG in the building. What's happening with it, Bruce? Yeah. Leon Miles, what it do? And y'all let me know, is the audio okay? Is my audio okay? Give me a thumbs up if the audio is okay. If y'all can hear me fine, if the audio is not echoing, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. If I do need to adjust my audio, let me know. Thumbs up? Okay. Al Booger, what's happening with it? Salute. LaMarcus Jordan, what it do? I mean, LaMarcus Robinson. I don't know where I got the Jordan from. Let me see what fights we got going on this weekend before I get to cooking. So we do got the Natasha Jonas versus Michaela Mayer. That's a solid fight. Solid fight. I'm looking forward to seeing them. Who else we got? That's about it. We ain't got too much going on in boxing this weekend, so we kind of, we got the Michaela Mayer and Natasha Jonas fight this weekend, and then pretty much the rest of them, some UK cats. No disrespect to them, but I don't be really interested in watching all of them, But yeah, we kind of pretty much got a break in boxing this weekend. And then with PBC off the map, we still don't have no announcement for no shows for the PBC. And everybody is starting to panic, like, what's going on with the PBC? When they going to come with a boxing show? When they going to come with some type of announcement? And we still haven't got it. And, we're a couple weeks into the new year already. But from what I'm hearing about the PBC, I'm hearing that they are going to have their first show on Amazon Prime in March, somewhere in mid-March. And I'm hearing that it's supposed to be Jaron Ennis. Now, we all know how boxing is. Everything is subject to change all the time when it comes down to boxing. But I believe that Jaron Ennis, but he still ain't got no opponent. You feel me? We hearing that the only fighter that's really willing to step up and fight Jaron Ennis at this point is Mario Barrios. So maybe we get Mario Barrios versus Jaron Ennis. And then we also know that Keith Thurman is supposed to return against Stanionis. Now, I don't know when that's going to take place. So, yes, it kind of looks like everything is up in the air with the PBC right now. They still trying to get things together and trying to get these venues and dates with the Amazon Prime, but let's see, man. Let's see. I'm looking forward to seeing it. And man, it's just not good for the fighters, because most of these fighters on the PBC roster, man, they've been sitting on the shelf for already too long. You know what I'm saying? And then with them going to Amazon Prime, they're going to have to sit on the shelf longer until they can get a date. So, man, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But and like I said, so today we're gonna cook on Terence Crawford and Jaron Ennis. We're gonna cook on EJ, Errol Spence. We also gonna cook on Gervonta Davis, man. Like, well, what's going on with him? And we got some other things we're gonna cook on. But first thing is first, right? I want to talk about the fights that took place this weekend. You know what I'm talking about? Man, this weekend, Arthur Beterbiev and Callum Smith, man. That was a hell of a, that was a hell of a showing about Beterbiev, right? But let me let y'all know something, right? It didn't surprise me, the outcome. I pretty much knew what the outcome was going to be. I told everybody what the outcome was going to be. But here's the thing, right? When I was watching the event before they fought, and I saw the ring, when I saw how small that ring was, I said, Callum Smith don't have a chance in hell. That ring was hella small. Looked like the ring that we used to spar in. Like that was a small ass ring. And they made sure that Callum Smith was going to be basically stuck with nowhere to go. Like a ring like that, it really don't matter if you have good footwork or not. The fighter don't really have to do too much to cut off the ring, because 2 steps and you on the ropes. So Callum Smith, when I saw the ring, I said Callum Smith don't have really no choice but to go toe-to-toe with Arthur Beterbiev. and he don't have no chance in hell going toe-to-toe with Beterbiev. Like, as soon as I saw the ring, I said, yeah, this is a done deal. KG, what's happening with it? What's happening with it? Big KG in the building. Yeah, as soon as I saw that ring, I said, yeah, this is a wrap. But going back to the fight before Beterbiev and Callum Smith, because I'm going to get back to that fight. But going back to the co-main event, Mbilli, I think that's how you say his name, Mbilli, the African kid, the African cat, that's the super middleweight cats. I can't remember. If somebody can help me out, it was Mbilli and then the white dude that was in there, the Canadian. Somebody help me out with the Canadian cat, because I can't remember his name. Like, I never had seen neither one of them fight. Yeah, that Maloney and Sanchez, that was a hell of a fight too. I saw them going at it, but at the same time, I'm gonna keep it real. I didn't get to really sit down and watch that fight round by round because I was watching the football game at the same time. So, I still got to go back and watch that Maloney and Sanchez, but they was going to war. So I was flipping back and forth trying to watch the Maloney and Sanchez fight, and then I was going to the football game. So, I didn't just sit down and watch that fight like that, but from what I saw, it was a war. They went to war. So that's a fight that I definitely will go back and watch. But, going back to Murdoch and Mbilli, man, Murdoch that dude is tough. Like, real talk. He tough as hell. So hats off to him, because he refused to fold. Like, he was getting hit with some huge shots, and he might be one of the toughest fighters I've seen in boxing. Like, he was tough. And Mbilli was just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him. And Murdoch wasn't going down. And Murdoch was he was hitting Mbilli with some shit too. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't just in there taking punches. He was giving his share too. And Mbilli, a lot of people jumping up and down talking about he's so dangerous and he's this and that, and putting him with Canelo and David Benavidez after the knockout. Well, after the stoppage, right? Because he eventually got a stoppage, and pretty much everybody that was watching that fight knew that fight was going to either end in Murdoch out cold, or he was going to get a stoppage, and Murdoch was just too tough for his own good. And Buddy McGirt, no, who threw in I can't remember. Did they throw in the towel on that fight? Oh, no. Buddy McGirt threw in the towel in the main event. But yeah, that fight, it was a stoppage. The referee came and stopped it. And like I said, Murdoch, he was just too tough for his own good. He was going to stand there and continue to take damage, right? If the ref hadn't stopped that fight, he was just going to continue to take damage. And the shots that he was getting hit with, it was scary. It was scary because Mbilli he was putting everything he had into every punch. But as far as Mbilli, I'm hearing fans put him with fighters like Canelo and David Benavidez, and y'all need to slow down. Like, real talk, he is not on that level. He's not on that level. He's not on Canelo Alvarez's level. He's not on David Benavidez's level. He's not on David Morrell's level. He's not on those fighters' level at all. But a fight that I would like to see, that I know that they not going to put together because they're still trying to build Mbilli, I would love for them to put him in the ring with David Morrell. Because, see, David Morrell, he still don't have a lot of fights. He's still trying to build his career to the top. And that's a fight I would love to see. But they ain't going to do that because they're going to get as much as they can out of Mbilli, right? They're still trying to build him. He's still very green. His defense is still hella leaky. He get hit with everything. He's pretty much stationary. He don't really have no footwork, but he's explosive. He can punch. You can tell that he's athletic, but as far as him being an all-around complete fighter, he's nowhere near that. He's nowhere near that. And if he get in the ring with somebody like a David Morrell, he's gonna get hurt. If he get in the ring with somebody like a Canelo or a David Benavidez, he's gonna get beat the fuck up and hurt. If he gets in the ring, I see Teach saying Plant is gonna beat the shit out of him. Well, I ain't gonna let me take that back. Plant is gonna school him, right? Get in the ring with Caleb Plant. Plant is gonna school him. Plant is gonna make him look like that he needs to go back to the amateurs, right? Mbilli, I know, like one thing that a lot of people do, they see a fighter that got knockout power, that's ferocious, that's explosive, and they just lose their shit. Like, oh man, he's this, and he ain't. He ain't that. You know what I'm saying? He's a fighter that if he don't get a whole lot better, he's gonna get exposed. That's what he is. He's gonna get exposed. Bruce Gass says Mbilli and Berlanga would be nice. Yeah. That's a fight that I would like to see. Mbilli versus Berlanga. That's a good fight. That's a pick 'em fight right there. Because I don't think too much of Berlanga. And to me, I honestly think that Berlanga is a fighter. He just don't have the discipline. And I told people this about Berlanga years ago. Probably 2020. And 2020, maybe 2021, when Berlanga was still on his knockout streak with Top Rank. And I started seeing Berlanga, popping this shit. Every video he would put up on Instagram, he was popping shit in the clubs, hanging out with the rappers, and that was his life. And I told people, I said, that's going to be Berlanga's downfall because he's a fighter kind of like Adrien Broner, right? He's more so focused on being famous, and the in crowd knowing him than he is on his career, And we eventually got to see what I was saying. I was exactly right. I was 100%, 1,000% right on what I was saying about Berlanga before he even lost. When he was still on his knockout streak, I noticed that in him. And I've learned by watching certain type of fighters that act like that as soon as they start getting a little buzz. I learned that from Adrien Broner. You know what I'm saying? AB is a perfect example that fighters should look at and understand, like, okay, and even fans, right? Even fans, because a lot of these fighters, they could fool us. They coming up and they're getting matched with fighters that they supposed to knock out, but they looking spectacular. They looking like that they, can do everything, even though they haven't had to do certain things. They haven't had to show certain, tools in their game. And then as soon as they start stepping up in competition, we see that they not what we thought they were. And most of the time it's because, they're doing exactly what we see them doing when they post on Instagram and social media. They focused on being in the limelight, being seen and being known, instead of focusing on perfecting their craft, being the best fighter that they can be in the ring. And Berlanga is undisciplined. I was the first one that I heard say that, right? And then now you hear people saying, he wasn't disciplined. He ain't disciplined like that. Then they get to changing trainers and they want to blame it on trainers and all of that. Nah, ain't your trainer, it's you. But Berlanga is a good fight for Mbilli, but they just on two different paths to where nowadays how boxing is, we don't get to see fights like that. We ain't gonna get to see no Mbilli versus Berlanga at this point in time. We'll only get to see a fight like that now if one of them lose and fall off, and then the promoters is pretty much like, okay, well, shit, he fair game now. Then we'll get to see fights like that. But they trying to mold Berlanga into getting a big fight with Canelo Alvarez eventually, right? So they trying to keep him undefeated. And Mbilli, they probably trying to do the same with him. You know, so that's just what that is. Yeah, the Saudis can definitely make it happen, Bruce. But like I said, do the promoters want that type of fight for either fighter? Do the promoters want that to happen? That's a whole different story. Y'all give me a second. Yeah, so that's all I'm saying. And y'all smash the like button. If do me a favor, get the likes up, get the likes to rise in. There's a lot of people in the building that still have not smashed the like button. So if y'all can hit the like button, I know it's easy to jump in and forget. So, you know, y'all get the likes up for me. Calvin Elliott, salute. Marlon Warren says, yeah, imagine the OGs great in this era. They would call them clout chasers for just one to fight. Yeah. He said, imagine the great OGs in this era. You call all of them clout chasers for one to fight because, see, this is the era that we in. If you want to fight the best, right, in your division, you might not be on that level yet. All of a sudden, you clout chasing. Like I tell people all the time, man, the competition is gone out of the sport in most cases. The fans don't even have a competitive bone in their body when it comes to, you know, their favorite fighters. And the fighters, most of them, they pretty much the same way. Everything is, oh, he's clout chasing. He's clout chasing. Well, y'all think that he may just want to fight because everybody's saying this other fighter is the best? That don't exist, right? But anyway, and Reginald Blunt, what's happening with it? And we're gonna get to the Crawford talk in a little bit. Like I said, we're gonna dive deep into that Terence Crawford, Jaron Ennis shit, and even with, you know, Errol Spence, John Kramer, what's happening with it with the 2 kilos on his neck? King Mac, what's happening with it? Leon Miles, he says, I think AB and Floyd finally parted ways. It's broke/hurt AB. It broke/hurt AB mentally. Oh, you said when AB and Floyd. Nah, bro, it didn't have nothing to do with Floyd. That had nothing to do with Floyd. Y'all got to understand, man, when you talk about Adrien Broner, AB was never disciplined before Floyd came in the picture, right? And I mean, just like as a person, right? You got to understand, like when AB was coming up through the ranks before he had money, yeah, you're going to be in the gym. You're going to be, you know, focused to get to that, to get to where you were. But as a human being, AB was never disciplined. He wasn't disciplined as a kid. You know what I'm saying? He was wild. A lot of the coaches couldn't tell him shit. You know, he's just an undisciplined human being. And so once you start to get money, once AB started to get money, that only made him more of what he already was. And then he got more money, and then he starts to spiral more and more out of control because he wasn't never a disciplined person, period, to begin with, you know. But he was fortunate to have people in his life that, you know, that was watching over him, like you know, the late great coach Mike Stafford and some of the other coaches that was around him that kind of, you know, made sure that he didn't, you know, venture off too far from the gym. I mean, AB didn't have he couldn't go to the Olympics or nothing like that because he was locked up. So that's a whole different story though. But you know, he's just never been disciplined, and it don't have nothing to do with him and Floyd. And the reason that Floyd never wanted to really sign him, because y'all got to think, AB wanted Floyd to sign him so bad, but Floyd was always like, nah, because Floyd seen this nigga go out with me, and he want to hang out with me, right? And I'm hanging out, I'm having a great time, and I don't drink, and he getting pissy drunk to where he falling out and blacking out. And I'm seeing this firsthand because this is what he does when he's hanging with me. Now, I'm trying to give him game, but I can't tell him shit. I can't tell him nothing. So Floyd is like, nah, and then you see eventually Floyd start kind of distancing himself from AB, right? And AB felt some type of way, and AB couldn't understand, like, why is Floyd kind of giving me, his back shoulder? But Floyd is like, man, I don't want to be around no fuck ups, like, for real. Like, that's just, once you get to Floyd's level, like, Floyd is looking at it like, okay, if you're not listening to shit that I'm telling you, right? You talking about I'm your big bro and you look up to me and I'm your mentor, but you're not listening to shit that I tell you, and you don't listen to nobody. Like, what good are you doing being around me? So that, I think that's just how Floyd was when it came to that. But yeah. And y'all smash the like button. Y'all smash on the like button. Come through the building. Salute to everybody. Y'all smash on the like button. But moving along, man. In other news, right? In other news, Alicia Baumgardner, the WBC came out and said that, trying to see how to word this, right? Because I guess they vindicated her, but the terminology that they used, and I'm going to just paraphrase it, is that they couldn't find conclusive evidence that she took these illegal drugs knowingly. That's what that was, right? So they know that she had, basically they saying, yeah, she did test positive, right? The drugs was in her system, but they couldn't find conclusive evidence that she took the illegal substances, my bad, on purpose. Like, she did it knowingly. Now, that's like when I heard that, right? And I read it and I heard it. It's still a huge gray area with all of that, right? Because how are you going to prove that she took it knowingly, and how are you going to prove that she didn't take it knowingly, right? That's something that you can't prove unless she come out and tell you, yeah, I took it knowingly, or somebody close to her say, yeah, she been doing this for such and such amount of time. I know she did it knowingly because I seen her do it. Like, that's something that you cannot prove either way. So, like, to me, right, whether she did it knowingly or she didn't know, the facts are still the facts. Every fighter that gets popped dirty, they say that they had no idea. They either say that they had some tainted meat. They say that they took a protein drink or some shit that was, contaminated. Regardless of what it is, they say it was in their system and it was something that happened unknowingly. Every fighter that popped dirty. What fighter can y'all think of in the past 5 years that took some shit and told you, yeah, I did the shit. I did it on purpose. So them coming out saying that she is vindicated because they couldn't find conclusive evidence that she took something knowingly is like, that shit don't even really make sense. Like, does that make sense to end? Like, seriously, right? All the trolling and shit out the window. Does that make sense to anybody? Am I tripping? Like, that don't really make sense to me. Am I missing something? Kilo Knitter says, I thought she had one good test and one false test. No, she didn't. She didn't. I don't even think they ever came back with her B sample, right? They never came back with her B sample. Now, shit, like a month or two or however long it was later, she went and had her own hair follicle test done, right? And she came back with her own test, but we don't even know what happened to the B sample or none of that. So all I'm saying is, like, so this opened doors, right? If you're gonna do this for Alicia Baumgardner, and it is what it is, you know, I'm not tripping. I know me. I think it's all about money, right? I think it's all about money. She's making a lot of noise with, you know, with all this Clarissa Shields talk, right? Ever since she got suspended, you can argue that her name has gotten even bigger because she attached her name to Clarissa Shields. So a lot of people talking about her, right? We don't have a lot of big names in women's boxing anyway. So it's all about money. They looking at, the WBC is looking at her like, okay, she's a name that we need in the sport of boxing. Because if you're going to do this for Alicia Baumgardner, this opened the doors, the floodgates. Like, this is opening the floodgates for all the PED users that pop dirty. This opening the floodgates. Now Colonel Ben could come out and he could be like, hey, y'all can't prove that I knowingly took whatever's in my system. Anybody can pop dirty now. And now you telling me that they have to prove that you knowingly took something? That's all they got to do. So how are they supposed to prove this when they're not with you on an everyday basis? If you knowingly did it or you didn't, how are they supposed to prove these things? You know what I'm saying? Y'all just got to make this shit make sense to me. Big Dog Willie, what's happening with it? He says, yeah, she is under Matchroom Eddie Hearn. Yeah, she is with Eddie Hearn. And when it comes to Eddie Hearn, once again, it's always a fighter under Eddie Hearn. It don't matter if it's male or female, it's always a fighter that fight over there on DAZN. I mean, we could go back to the man, what's him name? The man's name, Jimenez. What was Jimenez, the one that fought Franchon Cruz? The man that fought Franchon Cruz, we go all the way back to Jimenez. Had all type of horse testosterone in her system. She was trying to be a man. Was transitioning into a whole man and shit. Had all type of testosterone in her system. So we could go all the way back to the end. So, man, it's like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Yeah, so it's like, man, I don't know, man. Boxing is supposed to, the sport was supposed to be getting cleaned up, and it just seems like the sport is getting dirtier and dirtier. And they always want to stretch the rules out depending on how much money you make and what your name is in the sport. Man or woman. Man or woman. You know? So shit. I mean, I guess it's okay. I guess now you good. Just as long as they can't prove that you did it on purpose. So I guess what the fuck are they supposed to have? They supposed to have hidden cameras in your gym and in your house? I don't know. Kawhi Elliott said she beautiful, but she looked like a mini Hulk. Like, hey, if the shoe fit, wear it. Like, you can never accuse, like, people always were saying, man, she looked like she on something. She looked like she on stick. Like, check this out, right? Check this out. Let me use a male fighter as an example. Let's use Anthony Joshua. Y'all remember how big Anthony Joshua was back when he was fighting Klitschko and Dillian White, and Anthony Joshua looked like he just had came out of Mr. Olympia. Y'all remember that? Now, a lot of people were suspecting and you know, making rumors that Anthony Joshua was dirty. He was on some shit. Now, if Anthony Joshua had a pop dirty for steroids, nobody would have been shocked or surprised, right? Nobody would have been shocked or surprised. Everybody would have been like, yep, I knew it. Look at him. Look how he built. Look at him. So when it comes to Alicia Baumgardner, all I'm saying, if the shoe fit and then you get popped dirty, you got to wear that shit. You know what I'm saying? If the shoe fit, I'm just saying. Now, I don't have no evidence that she did it on purpose, nor does anybody else. But if that's how we rolling nowadays, that all they do is have to basically find conclusive evidence that you knowingly took something. All right, cool. I seen Bruce Gass said that they need a lie detector test to be a part of it. They need a lie detector test to be a part of it. And I agree with you, but see, it's only one problem with that, Bruce Gass. Sometimes when you all in on it, depending on who the fighter is, sometimes when you all in on it, depending on who the fighter is, it ain't gonna matter anyway, right? You see, Big Baby Jarell Miller, he don't really generate money like that, right? He wouldn't generate, like let's just keep it a buck. And I can't stand Big Baby Jarell Miller at all. Don't like nothing about him, but let's just keep it real for 1 second, right? Before I move on to the next subject. Big Baby Jarell Miller. He wasn't too popular. He wasn't selling out arenas. He wasn't, generating no money like that. And he may be the only fighter that was fighting under Matchroom that I know that tested positive before the fight, and they decided that the fight was not going to go on. Because we know everybody else that's with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, they don't let you know that the fighter tested positive until after the fight has already taken place. But with Big Baby Miller, now all of a sudden, they want to go by the correct protocol. Nope, he can't fight. He's suspended right off the rip. And he's suspended indefinitely. You see what I'm saying? It's different strokes for different folks. They don't uphold the rules the same way for everybody. They don't uphold the rules the same way for everybody. Now, if you switch the roles in that same position, if it was Anthony Joshua that had popped dirty and Big Baby Miller was on the other end, that was the clean fighter, you think that they would have called that fight off? Hell no. Hell no. Y'all know what would have happened? The fight would have took place. Then they would have did the same shit that they did with Dillian White. Well, we found out that Anthony Joshua popped dirty, but now we just waiting for the B sample to come back. Then 8 months later, you still ain't heard nothing about the B sample. Then it's a year. Then it's a year and a half, and now everybody then forgot about the B sample, and Anthony Joshua goes on to fight in between that time because we waiting on the B sample. Come on, man. Like, and they think that us as fans have amnesia and we forget about these things, right? So we see what it is. So y'all smash the like button. Y'all smash on the like button. Bruce Gass says it's used in drug-free bodybuilding. It's used in drug-free bodybuilding and is just another tool to use in keeping the sport clean. In drug-free bodybuilding, they use lie detector tests. That's dope. That's dope. But see, we have to have, but with in all of that, right? We got to make sure that everybody involved is going to uphold their integrity. In these promoters, especially. Like a lot of shit be going on in boxing behind the scene, right? A lot of these, not VADA, but a lot of these other drug testing programs, the promoter could just slide them some money to keep that shit under wraps. I've heard that happening, right? With these other drug testing programs, especially over in the UK, a promoter like Eddie Hearn, they could just slide the drug testing program some money. Okay, make sure this don't come out, and we're gonna go ahead and move on. I was listening to Victor Conti when he did an interview over there with manager Marty. He says that I forgot what drug testing program it is one of the drug testing programs for the UK, right? It's either WADA or UCAD or one of them, right? And he says that they have it so, right? Eddie Hearn has it so when his fighters get drug tested by these drug testing programs, that the test results go straight to the promoter. They go straight to him. And not only that, so listen to what I'm saying. He has it to where the test results go straight to him. And the lab that's doing the testing, they don't even get to see the results. So it just goes, the results, whatever the testing, it goes straight to the promoter. So come on now. That's clean. So like I said, according to what fighter it is, they're not upholding no integrity. Their money is on the line also. Yeah, it's a dirty game. Brian Francis said he the only fighter that got a real suspension. Big Baby, yeah. And yeah, he is a repeat offender. But I mean, they ain't do the same for nobody else. And like I said, I don't like Big Baby Miller. I think his ass should be banned from the sport like forever. That's just how I feel about it. But at the same time, if you're going, you got to treat everybody the same. David Tassane, what's happening with it? Salute. Samuel Washington, what's good? And y'all make sure y'all get the likes up. Smash on the like button. Get the likes up. Noel said Big Baby popped dirty against AJ, and Eddie Hearn got mad and said, Baby tries to kill my friend. Baby tried to kill my friend. Yeah, right. Right. It all depends on who is going to affect and who the fighter is. Like, it's crazy. But yeah. So treat all of them the same way. Don't change the rules and shit when it's a popular fighter that's making you money, man, woman, or whoever. But yeah, Omega Red, what's happening with it? Salute. So, something I want to touch on real quick, right? And to me, right, a lot of fans, casual fans, they're going to run with this, and then this is expected today in boxing. But Bill Haney, he got to popping his shit on a live stream. And I just want to touch on this for a little bit real quick, and then I'm going to get into the main topics I want to talk about, right? But Bill Haney got to popping this shit on the live stream. And Bill had the nerve enough to say that Shakur Stevenson, he needs what's the word? He needs to develop more. Shakur Stevenson showed that he needs to develop more when it comes to stepping in the ring to somebody like a Devin Haney, right? He needs to develop more. Oh, shit. He needs to develop more before he can get in the ring with somebody like Devin Haney. He showed that he needs more development. Like, that's the funniest shit. That's some of the funniest shit that I done heard in a long time. And now we know all the Devin Haney, Bill Haney fanatics, they just gonna run with that shit. And I'm like, bruh, now I gave Devin all the credit in the world for beating Regis Prograis, even though we know that Regis, to keep it a buck, to keep it 100, everybody know that Regis was tailor-made for Devin Haney, right? Now they went out there, moved up in weight, right? In the weight class they should have probably been in for a long time now. Moved up in weight and beat Regis Prograis. Now they smelling themselves so fucking much. This man got a nerve enough to say that Shakur Stevenson need more development before he get in the ring with a Devin Haney. So if Shakur need more development, and Shakur been the better fighter throughout their whole career as kids, as professionals, Shakur been the better fighter, moved through different weight classes, has shown more, and he needs development. What the hell do Devin Haney need then? Because I'm not saying that Devin needs more development, but all I'm saying is, like, can you make it make sense to me? How is Bill Haney talking about that Shakur need more development before he come fucking with Devin Haney? Like, come on, let's just get real. Throw all of the bullshit out the window. More development. Oh shit. Like, if Bill and Devin honestly believed that shit, they would have broke their neck to fight Shakur Stevenson. They would have broke their neck to fight Shakur if they thought that he needed more development. Because Shakur, he been whooping on them since they was kids. Ain't nobody on Devin Haney resume can come close to beating Shakur. Nobody. Devin Haney goes out there once again and beats Regis Prograis. Give him credit. Hats off to Devin Haney, right? Give him credit. But Devin, out of his own mouth, said that you trash. Regis is trash. Like, you're trash. You ain't nowhere near on my level. He said, matter of fact, me and Shakur, we was laughing with each other. We was laughing at how Shakur was beating the hell out of Regis Prograis. We was laughing at how Shakur was beating the hell out of you. We was laughing about how Shakur was beating the hell out of you. Right? This is what Devin said. Shakur didn't say that. Didn't nobody say that but Devin. Told everybody and told Shakur that we was laughing about how Shakur was beating the hell out of Regis Prograis. Now, you go and fight Regis Prograis and you beat Regis Prograis, basically shut him out. Now, all of a sudden, you running around, your daddy running around talking about that fighters like Shakur need more development. Like, come on, man. Y'all, like, Bill Haney and Devin, they compulsive liars. And the Haney, just y'all, Devin Haney and Bill Haney fanatics, y'all are delusional. Like, I really can't believe that y'all believe half of the shit that y'all say. Y'all couldn't believe half of the shit that y'all say. Like, real talk. Y'all could not believe half of the shit that y'all say, right? And then y'all running around here popping this big shit, talking all this, oh, we the A side, we the face of boxing. And then wonder why you can't get no big fights. Wonder why you can't get no big fights. Because that face of boxing talk, right? That face of boxing talk, and we the A side and all of that, that has Ryan Garcia fighting Rolly Romero right now, right? You blew off the big fight you was going to have. You blew off the big bag that you was going to get because you was popping that A-side shit, right? So all you did was make Ryan Garcia he was already second guessing the fight, right? Let's just keep it real. I'm going to keep it a buck. Ryan was already second guessing fighting Devin Haney already. But Bill and Devin doing that and then also talking to Floyd, that made his decision easier. Oh, they still talking about they the A side? Oh, y'all just making it easier for me to back up out the fight and go fight the fighter that I want to fight in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Shit crazy. That shit is crazy. But yeah. Derek says, where's Shakur big fight? Oh, it's Devin. Well, Shakur, his biggest fight was Oscar Valdez. Right? His biggest fight was Oscar Valdez. His next biggest fight was going to be Devin, but Devin ducked out. And Shakur ended up fighting for Devin Haney's WBC strap because Devin didn't want no smoke. Yeah. Devin Haney's biggest fight was Vasyl Lomachenko. Somebody that also could have been fighting Shakur Stevenson, but decided to duck Shakur Stevenson and now is fighting George Kambosos. Yeah. So so we'll answer your question. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said, Devin had a big fight on the table. Devin had a big fight on the table, but now he don't got no big fight no more because him and his daddy run their mouth too much. You know what I'm saying? Him and his daddy run their mouth too much. That's just what it is. So I mean, you know, who's getting the last laugh? Who's getting the last laugh? Rolly laughing. Floyd Mayweather definitely laughing. You know Leonard Ellaby laughing. And you know what else? You know what else? Do y'all know what else? Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson made the same amount of money they last fight. Y'all was talking all this big money shit, but Devin and Shakur made the same amount of money they last fight. It's public information. Y'all can look it up. Y'all can look it up. I don't got to make it up. Devin made $4 million guaranteed his last fight. Shakur made $4 million guaranteed last fight. Last time we heard Devin talk about how many pay-per-view buys they did, right? Devin said, well, I need to know that information myself. Hey, Dad, I gotta ask my dad. We don't know because we're still waiting for the pay-per-views to come in because I need to see if I'm gonna get paid any back money, Dad. That man said he was still waiting for the pay-per-view numbers to come in because that's what he get paid back-end money on. Well, Devin still ain't told you how many pay-per-view buys they sold, but everybody else said that they did anywhere from 30 to 50,000. And y'all know what? Let me tell y'all the secret. Y'all know what? It ain't no back-end money. Yeah, they're not getting no back-end money. They not. Sorry. Ain't no back. When you only do 30 to 50,000 pay-per-view buys, It ain't no such thing as back end money. That money got to go to the promoter to cover his ass for overpaying Regis Prograis and Devin Haney. I know y'all mad. I know y'all biting blood out your bottom lip right now, right? I know y'all are mad and biting blood out your bottom lip, but it's no back end money. Sorry. So that $4 million that Devin made, it's gonna be $4 million. That's the same amount that Shakur made his last fight. Now, we making the same money and you got the nerve enough to tell me to take 25% of your $4 million that you making. Hold on. Oh, shit, I got tears coming out my eyes. So they wanted Shakur to take 25% of $4 million. Right? See, if y'all listen to Devin and Bill will make y'all believe that they getting Tank Davis money. You know what I'm saying? Devin and Bill, they'll make y'all believe that they getting Gervonta Davis money. They getting Ryan Garcia money. They'll make y'all believe that. But when the news come out and it say that you made $4 million, and then when they talk to you and you say that you still waiting on back end money on a pay-per-view that only did 30 to 50,000. Now, granted, right? They never put any pay-per-view numbers out to tell anybody how many pay-per-views that was done. So, right? None of the numbers ever came out. Right? Because they don't release numbers. Well, no, let me back, because I was gonna say that DAZN never releases numbers, right? Now they did release numbers a couple times with Canelo Alvarez, right? But let's back that all the way back. Because I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I'm gonna keep it all the way 1,000 with y'all. None of these networks ever release the pay-per-view numbers when it flops. Tell me where I'm lying at. Showtime, they don't release their pay-per-view numbers when it flop. Top Rank don't release their pay-per-view numbers when it flop. And DAZN don't release their pay-per-view numbers when it flops. Now, you can guarantee they're going to come out with them pay-per-view numbers if they do big numbers. When they do big numbers, oh, they can't wait to come out with the pay-per-view numbers. But when it flops and they don't do no good numbers, you'll be waiting on them motherfuckers until your face turn blue and you fall out. Yeah. You'll be waiting on them until your face turn blue and you fall out. Because we a month and a half in, I think, and them numbers still ain't came out. They ain't coming out. They're not coming out. Oh, they've been had the pay-per-view numbers. They've been had the pay-per-view numbers. Joseph Jackson, we know that you young and you don't really, you probably just started watching boxing not too long ago. But yeah, they came out with the numbers on DAZN with the Gennady Golovkin fight. Yeah, they came out with those numbers. But yeah, man, they came out with the numbers when DAZN and Showtime did a joint pay-per-view with Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia. But you know why they came out with those numbers that I'm talking about? Because they did very well. Now, if those events had a flop, they wouldn't have came out with those numbers. Like I said, this is not only DAZN, this is Showtime, this is Top Rank. None of these promoters, they never come out with the numbers when the numbers are not good. So ask yourself again, why haven't we seen the official numbers for Devin Haney and Regis Prograis? Well, because they wasn't good. So before we move on to the next subject, all of the Haney Coat, this is to all of the Haney Coat members. all of the Bill Haney and Devin Haney cult members. Y'all need to stop screaming the fights. Y'all need to start buying these fights, dog. Stop screaming and start buying the fights because it ain't looking too good. Y'all all over YouTube, right? Everywhere on YouTube. Devin Haney Fanatics is everywhere on YouTube. But when them numbers came out, it showed that y'all wasn't buying that fight like that. Why? All right, let's move on. Let's move on. Yeah. Hey, let's move on because I know I got a lot of y'all mad. You know, a lot of y'all done punch holes in your walls. You know, a lot of y'all got blood running down your motherfucking chin and shit from biting your bottom lip. It's okay. The truth hurts sometimes. The truth hurt. Man, fuck his like button. I ain't hitting this like button. Man, fuck that nigga, man. That nigga hate no, man, he hate no Devin Haney. I'm just telling y'all the truth. Tell me where the lie is. Tell me where the lie is. So the moral of the story is when you do 30 to 50,000 pay-per-view buys, it ain't no back-end money. Yeah, that back-end money going to the promoter. Anyway, but yeah. Anyway, right? Let's move along. Y'all smash the like button for the ones that, you know, if I didn't offend y'all and make y'all too mad, you know, make tears and shit come down your eyes. Y'all smash the like button. Smash on the like button. We gonna move along. And since we talking about Devin Haney, we'll just segue into Gervonta Davis, right? Because good news. We got some good news, and it came from Issac Pitbull Cruz. The good news is that Tank and Issac Pitbull Cruz will not be fighting. Let's clap to that. Tank and Issac Pitbull Cruz will not be fighting. I've been saying this ever since the first fight. I didn't want to see no rematch with Gervonta Davis and Issac Pitbull Cruz. If anybody that says that Issac Pitbull Cruz beat Gervonta Davis or Issac Pitbull Cruz gave Gervonta Davis a tough fight or he almost beat Gervonta Davis, those people don't need to talk boxing because they don't know shit about boxing. I saw Gervonta Davis go in there and basically put on a boxing clinic against Issac Cruz with one hand. Why do I need to see the fight over again? You gonna try to sell me on Calvin Ford, Leonard Ellaby? Y'all tried to sell us. Y'all tried to sell Gervonta Davis because that's what they did. Forget us as fans. They tried to sell Gervonta Davis on facing Issac Pitbull Cruz. And this exposes everything that I've been telling y'all about Gervonta Davis's team, not him. Because y'all listen, y'all hear me, right? But y'all don't listen. A lot of y'all hear me, but y'all don't listen. So when I say shit and it pertains to Tank, y'all just get to screaming and hollering and crying, talking about I'm hating on Tank, right? Because you hear me, but you ain't listening. And I've been telling y'all, his team, this exposes everything that I've been saying about the team around Gervonta Davis. They're looking at him. Now, yeah, they care about Tank. They want to see Tank get a whole lot of money. They want to see Tank do well. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you them that they don't care about Tank, right? But they also look at him when it comes to the big, because it's two sides to this shit. Business is involved with Calvin Ford, Leonard Ellaby, and whoever else is a part of Gervonta Davis's team, right? They look at the person, and then they look at the business. And they trying to convince him, fight Issac Pitbull Cruz, fight Pitbull Cruz, fight Pitbull Cruz. And he continues to tell them, I'm not fighting that big head son of a bitch no more. No. He telling them he want fighters like Devin. But they don't want to put on fights with Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney because they are invested for themselves. That's what it is. And I continue to tell this. He fight Issac Pitbull Cruz, the model of the blueprint that Leonard Ellaby and Calvin and all them have for themselves. Because at this point in time, the blueprint is for his team. It ain't no longer necessarily for Gervonta Davis because he done made a lot of money. It's for them to continue to eat off of him. So what the blueprint is, go fight Issac Pitbull Cruz. We ain't got to pay Pitbull. He'll take $800,000, Tank. Imagine we pay him his little $800,000. He take that to Mexico. He's good. He live in Mexico. He's not going to demand a whole lot of money. We only got to pay him $800K. We give him a little percentage of the back end money to where at the end of the day, he make $1 million. And imagine how much money we're going to make, Tank. Tank. Look at all the money we're going to walk away with. But see, when Tank walk away with all that money, who else you think is walking away with all of the money, with a whole lot of the money? Leonard Ellaby, that motherfucker eating. That's why that's why every time Tank fight, he got the biggest grin on his face. Because he eating. Calvin Ford, oh, he getting paid very well. He eating. That's why he riding around clean. And I'm not saying he don't deserve to. But see, they know as long as Tank fight the Pitbull Cruzes, we can throw Ryu in there and those type of fighters, they don't demand a lot of money. That's why every time you hear Leonard Ellaby talk, Ellaby talking money. Calvin Ford talking money. They just don't get into the ins and the outs with you. That's why I'm right here and I'm letting y'all know what the ins and the outs and the outs and the ins is. They talking him into fight those guys that none of the fans are raising their hand to see. Because at the end of the day, yeah, Gervonta Davis is eating, but they also eating a lot more than if he fight a Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson or somebody that they got to pay more. That's all it is. It's the blueprint. Who came out? Tank Davis never came and said nothing about a blueprint. You ain't never heard Tank talk about the blueprint, but you hear Leonard Ellaby, Floyd Mayweather, Calvin Ford, they always talk about a blueprint. That blueprint is now for them. Tank, he here. He here. He don't need a blueprint no more. They need a blueprint so they can continue to get paid a whole lot of money. Telling y'all, man, y'all, so when I speak on these things, instead of getting mad, and y'all need to learn how to listen sometimes. You know, listen. That's all it is. You know. But see, yes, Brian, those fights are not as big as a Devin Haney fight would potentially be, or Shakur Stevenson fight would potentially be. But you also got to understand, right? They still making more money. Because if they generate, let's say the event generates, let's say if Tank go and fight Pitbull Cruz and he generates $30 million, right? And out of that $30 million, you only paying Pitbull Cruz $1 million. where the rest of the money going? Right? And I'm just, and like I said, I'm just making an example, right? These are not real numbers. I'm just giving y'all an example, right? So ultimately, you still making a whole lot more money than you would if you fight a Devin Haney or Shakur Stevenson. And your team, they eating big time. Omar Parks, anything I say, it's not supposed to make sense to a peon with a pea brain. Like if you have a pea brain, it's never gonna make sense. You know what I'm saying? Now, to anybody with common sense, it makes a whole lot of sense. To anybody that have a little, just a small amount of sense, it makes a whole lot of sense. But a peon with a pea brain is never gonna make sense. And nobody knows who the fuck you are. Nobody cares who you are. So why are you in my chat announcing that I'm out? Like, raise your hand if anybody cares that Omar Parks, whoever he is out of the chat. Raise your hand if anybody cares that you out. Like, I don't know why people announce that shit like, oh, I'm out. Like, oh, nigga, who are you? Anyway, but yeah, y'all smash the like button, get the likes up. Now, so yeah, moving along. So with the whole thing with Gervonta Davis is people asking, man, who is next? Who is he gonna fight next? Who is next for Gervonta Davis? Because that's something I want to know, and I believe that's something that everybody that's in the chat want to know, and all of his fans and his haters want to know, right? Who is Gervonta Davis going to fight next? Like, yeah, like who is he going to fight next? We hear people talking about Raul Venezuela. Think that could be a very, very big possibility. To me, that's another fight that I put on the same level as Issac Pitbull Cruz. I don't want to see that. And I got two fighters that I want to see him fight next because, like I said, realistically, we know that he's not going to fight. We already know that he's not going to fight. Well, hold on. Back up. Devin Haney free now. See, I was going to say I would love to see him fight Edwin De Los Santos first, or if we can't get that fight, Frank Martin. Even though I don't think Frank Martin deserved a big fight like that after what he did with Shakur, but, I'm still a boxing fan. I think that's still, a fight that I would much rather see is Frank Martin first, like I said, first, or Edwin De Los Santos. We can't get that, Frank Martin. Cool. I'm good with that, right? But now, Devin Haney is he back on the table? Because Devin ain't got no fight now. Right? Jay Hizzy said a little umph. Yeah, a little umph. Can we get a little umph with Tank? Devin ain't got no fight now. Devin should be back on the table. Now, I truly believe that Gervonta Davis wants to fight Devin Haney. I could be wrong, but I believe that Tank want to fight Devin. So, now Devin got to get off this A-side talk because he ain't the A-side. You know what I'm saying? He not the A-side. No educated jab. Nobody is interested in talk. Like, nobody is interested in watching Devin Haney versus Sandor Martin over Shakur Stevenson. Over Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis and Tank Davis. Ain't nobody interested in watching no damn Sandor Martin and Devin Haney. The only way you interested in watching Sandor Martin and Devin Haney over a Gervonta Davis fight is because you don't want to see Devin Haney get knocked the fuck out. That's the only way that anybody could be interested in that fight if they don't want to see Haney get knocked the fuck out. Because other than that, ain't no way that nobody wants to see no Sandor Martin and Devin Haney fight. Like, I know that is supposed to be his mandatory, and that is not a good fight for Devin Haney because if he fights Sandor Martin, he going backwards. If y'all think that the Regis Prograis fight didn't do well, the Sandor Martin fight, that shit sure gonna flop. So Devin Haney right now, he's not in the position to even be fighting no Sandor Martin. Let's just keep it a buck. He's not in the position to be fighting the Sandor Martin. He's just not. He's not. He's not. Now, I'm not talking about him going down to 135. In order for him and Gervonta Davis to fight, we know that fight ain't going to take place at 135. But in order, like me and Money Brown told y'all before, in order for that fight to take place, and let me read this super chat, my bad. Noel with the super chat, he said, supporting the channel, man. I appreciate you, man, coming through. Because ain't nobody in here supporting today. My man Noel came through and showed love and supporting in the super chat. I appreciate that, man. Much appreciated. But going back to something that me and Money Brown was saying, right? In order for Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney to fight, they're both, right? Them and their teams, they both gonna have to get off their high horses, right? They gonna have to meet each other in the middle. We know that Gervonta Davis is the A side. So, so if all depending on what Tank is talking about, because if Tank, right, let's just keep it real. If Tank is saying he got to come to 135 and that's it, it ain't going to be no fight. If Devin Haney is saying, well, Tank got to come to 140 and I'm not doing no rehydration clause, it ain't going to be no fight. You see what I'm saying? So in order for this fight to get made at this point, both fighters got to give. Both fighters got to give something. That's the only way big fights like this can get made, especially when you're not in the same weight division no more. Both fighters got to give. So my thing is Gervonta Davis go to 140 and put a rehydration clause on Devin Haney. Yeah, I'll go to 140. I'm the A side. But you got to agree to a rehydration clause. Or I'll fight you at 138 at a catch weight with no rehydration clause. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, that fight should be on the table right now, next, for both fighters, because Tank ain't got no fight lined up and Devin Haney ain't got no fight lined up. And if both fighters want to fight, they should be able to come together and agree on the weight issue. But if the fight is going to be made, Devin got to stop with this A-side shit because of his accomplishments. He is not the A-side. He is not running shit. And another thing, Devin Haney and his team can't send Tank Davis nothing. They can't send Tank no offer. We know that. Leonard Ellaby then said that shit a million times. Nobody sends Tank an offer. Tank is not about to leave and stop doing business with Al Heyman and the PBC to go to Matchroom Boxing and put on a fight with Devin Haney, because if he does that, well, you no longer the A side because you coming over to my side. So it ain't gonna happen like that. It ain't gonna happen like that. But I think that fight should be on the table again now. But you know, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Because it's a whole lot of egos that's involved. And it's not only the fighters, it's the people, it's the people around the fighters. Whole lot of egos involved in this shit. And my man, what's happening with it, man? In the Cash App. My man in the Cash App. John Kramer, man, I appreciate you. Salute in that Cash App. But yeah, man, so if he fight, I'm telling y'all right now, if he fuck around and fight Sandor Martin, if he fights Sandor Martin, that shit's gonna be bad. Like, it's gonna be real bad because for one, they're not gonna be able to put that shit on pay-per-view. You're not putting no Sandor Martin versus Devin Haney on pay-per-view. You're not. Matter of fact, the only way that I see Devin getting another pay-per-view fight if it's against Shakur Stevenson, but that they in two different weight classes, so they probably never fight each other. Only way he get a pay-per-view fight is Gervonta Davis, Teofimo Lopez, Rolly Romero, or Ryan Garcia. Right? Those are the only fighters that he can come back and do pay-per-view with. Subriel Matisse, that's a hell of a fight, but don't nobody know who he is. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't gonna happen, right? Let's just be realistic. And you can't go to no Sandor Martin. You just can't. And this is the thing, right? Because I go back to what Devin Haney said himself. Let's talk about what Devin said himself. Devin, when he was asked, does he want to be undisputed, right? And they asked him that in conjunction with a question about him fighting Subriel Matisse. And his answer was that he wasn't interested in being undisputed at 140. He already did it at 135. He said he was only interested in making the biggest and best fights. So, is Sandor Martin versus Devin Haney the biggest and best fight? Nah. Don't matter if he is your mandatory. Because ultimately, what Devin is saying is that belt don't mean shit to you. You already became undisputed. Now you became a champion at 140. So if it ain't the biggest and best fight, you ain't worried about that belt. He can't do it. I'm telling y'all. That Sandor Martin is not a step back. It's 10 steps back in the wrong direction. And I'm not saying that Sandor Martin isn't a decent fighter. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Sandor Martin isn't a decent fighter, but Sandor Martin, he ain't it. You feel me? He not it. He not going to sell no pay-per-views. They're not going to be able to put him on pay-per-view with no Sandor Martin. Now, yeah, they can put him on regular DAZN. Put him on regular DAZN and have people, you know, that have a subscription to DAZN pay for it. But, yeah, that's not a big fight. And so out of Devin Haney's own mouth, he's only interested in making the biggest and best fights. Big Dog Willie, man, appreciate you. Appreciate you, man. Salute. So, yeah. PLG Ski, what's happening with it? So, I mean, yeah, I think that they should be doing everything they can to try to negotiate with Gervonta Davis. That's what instead of running their mouth and we the A side and we the face of boxing, they should be doing everything they can to try to negotiate with Tank Davis because that is their big fight. And the longer that they prolong this Gervonta Davis fight, the more that the fight gets further and further away from them because we know that Devin Haney, He ain't getting no smaller. You know what I'm saying? Devin ain't getting no smaller. So if they continue to prolong this Gervonta Davis fight, no telling how long Devin is even going to be able to make 140 pounds. So they need to be trying to do everything they can to negotiate with to negotiate with Gervonta Davis right now. They can't prolong this shit no longer. And if Tank, I don't know what Tank is doing. You know, I don't know what he got going on. But if his side ain't moving, Bill need to come out, Devin need to come out and say, look, we know that y'all the A side. Let's sit down and let's see what we can do with the weight. Let's see what we come up with. Let's just negotiate. But if y'all keep talking that big money shit and we the A side and we the face of boxing, all right, okay. Y'all only hurting yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because trust me. Yeah, I do believe that Gervonta Davis want to fight Devin Haney real bad, but I don't really think that shit is affecting him like that. It ain't going to affect him because he going to get a big bag regardless. And Devin is still trying to get in that position. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I hear what you're saying, Woke, but they're not making it no better. Talking about they the A side. Devin talking about he got to come to 140 and fight me, and it ain't going to be no rehydration clause. That's A side talk, dog. You ain't at the A side. You're not. So as long as you talking like that, all you doing is hurting yourself and hurting your chances of getting a big bag. Bro, we know all we got to do, like I said earlier, we know that you only made $4 million versus Regis Prograde. Come on, man. Let's stop playing with me. But anyway, Bama Jeff said Bill said Davis is the A side and they want the deal that they gave Ryan. They want the deal that they gave Ryan. Well, I mean, dog, you saying that like they want the deal that they gave Ryan, right? But Bill said a whole lot of shit because you saying that Bill said that they the A side, but I've also heard Bill said that they the A side never face of boxing. And I've also heard them talk about $30 million and Ryan made $30 million. Well, we want that. And we like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, and I heard Devin Haney out of his own mouth once again. See, like I said, y'all hear me, but y'all don't listen because we're talking about the words that Devin and Bill are saying. Now, if you're telling me, and I heard this because, see, y'all like to skip over a lot of shit. Y'all like to skip over a whole lot of shit. I just told y'all that Devin, and y'all heard Devin say, Tank got to come to 140, and I'm not taking a rehydration clause. With no rehydration clause, that's A side talk if Tank is a 135-pound fighter, right? So he telling y'all, I'm not willing to do no catch weights. I'm not willing to sit down and negotiate shit about the weight. It's 140, no rehydration clause, or it ain't gonna be no fight. That's what Devin said. Why y'all like to skip around what the man said out of his own mouth? So now you telling me, well, Bill said that he did say that Tank is the A side. Well, how is Tank the A side when y'all are demanding and telling him what weight that it has to be at? Is that A side? Like, y'all make this shit make sense to me. Y'all make this shit make sense to me. He got to fight at 140. And I'm not doing no rehydration clause. But now you telling me that, oh, well, Bill said that he did come out and say that Tank Davis the A side. That ain't the A side, dog. It ain't. It's just not. I don't give a fuck what y'all saying, what y'all talking about. Y'all are not making sense. Well, Bill here, okay, well, what did Devin say? Bill also, and why is Bill saying that we the face of boxing? Fuck everything else. We the face. That sounds like A side talk to me. That sounds like we're the A side. So I mean, yeah, y'all just don't make sense when it comes to Devin Haney. I mean, I want to see the fight. I really could give a I really don't care who the A side and who the B side, but I know that's a factor that if they acting like that with Leonard Ellerby and the people that Gervonta Davis have involved, the fight will never happen. The fight ain't never gonna happen if Bill and Devin don't come up off of that shit that they talking. And that's a fact. That's the facts. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about none of that shit, but I just know that we won't see the fight. I just want to see the best fight the best. I just want to see the fight. And if they stick to that shit, it's going to be the same shit with Ryan Garcia. You're going to see Gervonta Davis fighting somebody else. And then the next time, you're going to see him fight somebody else, and we ain't going to get the fight. Emmanuel Carter, salute. Appreciate you dropping through in that super chat. My man Woke, he says, just for the grind, hope y'all good. I ain't in Dallas, but you know, and speaking of Dallas, man, I don't even want to talk about Dallas. For real. I ain't never fucking with the Cowboys no more. 28 years of the Dallas Cowboys doing the same shit that they do every year, choking anytime they get in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm done. As long as they got Dak Prescott at the quarterback, and I know you wasn't talking about football, you talking about the weather, but you know, I'm talking about football. As long as he at quarterback, I don't want to, for real. That's sorry, motherfucker. I'm sick of his ass. The coach, yeah, they need to go. They need to go for real. And I know that Dak Prescott ain't going nowhere. So yeah, I won't never be rooting for them again. As long as Dak Prescott is under center, you won't hear me say shit about no Dallas Cowboys with his trash ass. But where you, man, you already know, man. That's my hometown, Arkansas. Where you at? Where you at in Arkansas? But so, like I said, man, both fighters, both teams, they got shit that they need to get off of, right? They need to come together and they need to make this shit happen, right? Even just for shit talking purposes, right? They've been talking shit ever since we can remember. They've been talking shit to each other and about each other. The sparring stories, all of the stories that go with Devin and Gervonta Davis, man, they need to fight. Real talk. They need to fight each other. But anyway, man, moving along, right? Moving along. So, y'all smash the like button. Smash the like button. Smash on the like button. Get the likes up. I know it's a lot of haters in the building. I didn't piss a lot of people off because I tell the truth about their favorite fighter. But get the likes up. Smash the like button. Before I get up out of here, what I do want to cook on, I want to cook on this whole Terence Crawford situation. Hold on, before I even cook on this, right? Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Hold on. So y'all get to like some. Y'all get to like some. Let's cook on this whole Terence Bud Crawford situation real quick, man. And it sounded like that Bud, he kind of throwing that. I mean, he throwing the rematch with Errol Spence out the window, right? Throwing the rematch with EJ out the window. Now, I don't know if they gonna fight. I don't know if Bud is telling the people behind the scenes, I'm done with that. I'm not fighting him. I don't know what's going on with it, but from what Bud recently said, he sounds like that he throwing that fight out the window, right? He ain't going through with it. And it is what it is, you know. It is what it is with that fight, right? But I know one thing, unless Bud Crawford retire, he's not getting the Canelo Alvarez fight. That's off the table. If Spence want that rematch, like he said he does, and Bud refuses to give him the rematch, and I'm not saying that he gonna get refused to give it to him, right? I'm just telling y'all how this shit gonna go. And watch and see how it works. If Spence is demanding the rematch and Bud is saying no, the only way that Bud get another big fight is if he fights Jaron Boots Ennis. If he fights Jaron Boots Ennis. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Bud a badass. Yeah, he bad. He got nothing to say about Bud Crawford being a fighter as far as, you know, how good he is. Bud is one of them athletes. He good at every fucking thing, right? But let's keep it a buck. Bud ain't willing to put it on the line against Jaron Boots Ennis. And he's showing it with his actions, his words, everything with Bud Crawford is showing that he ain't willing to put it on the line against Jaron Ennis. He's on his high horse. He at the top of the mountain. Because soon as he beat Errol Spence, his whole, I ain't gonna say his attitude changed, but he got a whole lot more pep in his step. He got to popping his shit 1,000,000 times more. He talking that shit, telling everybody he can't be fucked with, right? He giving himself all of the praise in the world. He's receiving all of the praise in the world. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. I'm him. I showed I was him because I beat Errol Spence. I showed I was him because I beat Errol Spence. Now let's keep it a buck. Y'all can get mad as you want to. Y'all can say I'm hating on Bud because that ain't the case. Because when it's facts, it's never hating. He beat one fighter. Now, we know that one fighter that he beat was not 100%. He was not the best version of himself, right? And we're not even going to get deep into the injuries and all of that, right? We know that. It ain't no denying that. But we're not even going to use that to take that away from what Bud Crawford did in the ring because I'm not even going to elaborate on that, right? I'm not even going to go deep into that because the fact still remains that you beat one fighter. When you beat Sean Porter was already pretty much done with the sport of boxing. He said it himself. Was Sean Porter an A+ level fighter, an A level fighter when Bud Crawford fought him? Nah, he wasn't. Just the truth. He wasn't. That wasn't the best version of Sean Porter. That wasn't the Sean Porter that fought Keith Thurman. That wasn't the Sean Porter that even fought Kell Brook. That wasn't the Sean Porter that fought Errol Spence. That was the Sean Porter that told you, I ain't even want to fight no more. I already had told myself that I was going to retire. Let's just keep it a buck, right? You fought Kell Brook, a fighter that hadn't fought in the weight division for 3 years. A fighter that has suffered 2 broken eye sockets, 1 on each side. And like I said, I'm not saying this to take away how good Terence Crawford is. So don't just hear what I'm saying, listen to what I'm saying, and let me get to my point, right? So when you fought Kell Brook, it was a fighter that wasn't at his best. Kell Brook wasn't in his prime no more. And everybody know that. Bud know that shit, even though you won't admit it. Kell Brook had 2 broken eye sockets, had been fighting at 154 pounds for the last 3 years. Also, Kell Brook had became an alcoholic, a recovering alcoholic. Kell Brook had went to AA. Not only an alcoholic, Kell Brook was on the borderline of being a drug addict. He said all of them shit. Kell Brook said this shit himself. Then he made a comeback, right? Had 5 weeks to train for the Terence Bud Crawford fight and get ready. And his own trainer refused to train him because he said, I'm not training him. I'm not training him to go in there and get beat up by Bud Crawford because we don't have enough time to prepare. So no, I'm not going to train him. So weight drained Kell Brook, went in there on 5 weeks notice, fought Terence Crawford, and yeah, he got knocked out. Now, am I saying Terence Crawford wouldn't have knocked him out in his prime? I'm not saying that, but we don't know because he ain't never fought him in his prime. Jeff Horn, trash. Jose Benavidez. How did that fight age well? The Jose Benavidez fight, it didn't age too well, did it? Well, I don't got to tell you that because y'all already know that. We go to 140 pounds. Julius Ndongo, trash. That fight was never going to age well. Matter of fact, Regis Prograis came and knocked Julius Ndongo out faster than Terence Crawford did. Not making no comparison and not saying that, Regis Prograis is nowhere near on the level fighter that Bud is, but I'm just telling y'all. I'm just telling y'all his opposition. Ricky Burns, trash. That fight didn't age real. Ricky Burns, he got more losses on his record than I can count. Had some when Bud fought him. Julio Diaz, whatever, trash. Right? So, like I said, Bud is still a hell of a fighter, but when we go back to it, you are giving yourself all of these praises, right? You at the top of the mountain because you fought one fighter that was supposed to be him. One fighter in your whole career. Gamboa, right? Gamboa. Did that fighter age well? Well, when we look at Gamboa's resume, he went on to beat nobody. Gamboa ain't never beat nobody with a name on his whole resume. Never beat no A-level fighter on his whole resume. See, y'all can get mad, but these are the facts. These are the facts. So you got all of this praise because you had one big fight, one mega fight. You won that fight in spectacular fashion. And now you at the top of the hill and you like, nah, boo-boo. Nah, boo-boo. I don't got to fight nobody else now. I ain't gotta put it on the line against nobody else. When you got a young, hungry lion, right, in the division, that's been calling you out for the longest. He was calling you and Errol Spence out for the longest. Let's keep it a buck. And all I hear from you is excuses why you're not going to fight Jaron Ennis. And you lied and you said that Jaron Ennis had a chance to fight you on several different occasions. That is a lie. Jaron Ennis never had a chance to fight you because when he got when you went over there, right? When you was in negotiations, because you were in negotiations with Errol Spence, you left Top Rank, and when you left Top Rank, they was trying to make a fight between you and Errol Spence the whole time. It wasn't no Jaron Ennis. If anybody is idiot enough, is a fool enough to think that Terence Crawford was going to fight Jaron Boots Ennis right after he left Top Rank when he was trying to negotiate a fight with Errol Spence. That was the fight that they was trying to negotiate. That was the main reason you said that you left Top Rank so you could get a fight with Errol Spence. So where did Jaron Ennis come into play? Now, you were negotiating with Errol Spence after Spence fought Ugas. Y'all went into negotiations right after that. You still a free agent. The negotiations fall apart. While the negotiations are going on, you admit that you was negotiating with BLK Prime and looking for them to come up with a fight for you the whole time. Right? You was negotiating with BLK Prime and you said it yourself. So you talking about that Boots had a chance to fight you? When did Boots have a chance to fight you? That's cap. You was never going to fight Jaron Boots Ennis because you know good and so fucking well with a Errol Spence fight lingering over your head, you was not about to fight no Jaron Boots Ennis. Like, that's a lie. That's a flat out lie. That's a flat out lie. That man was not going to fight a Jaron Boots Ennis while he was negotiating to fight Errol Spence. Like, y'all got to stop with these lies. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to stop with these lies. You know what I'm saying? And so now, like I said, he beat one fighter, and now you want to take his ball and go home and tell everybody he don't need to do nothing else. He don't need to fight nobody else. Unless it's Canelo Alvarez. Well, you got Jaron Boots Ennis right there. Why don't you fight Jaron Ennis and make everybody shut the fuck up? But see, the truth is that whether y'all want to admit it or not, what's happening with it, money? He don't want to put it on the line against somebody like Jaron Ennis. He don't want to do that because it's too much, because it's too big of a risk, and he's getting too much praise from all of the boxing world right now. He's getting too much praise. His ego too big. If he fuck around and lose to a Jaron Ennis, that shit gonna fuck up his ego. Let's just keep it real. He not gonna and see, and this is not just with Bud. A lot of fighters, they get in that position and they scared to put it on the line. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fighters, they get in the position and they be scared to put it on the line. They do. They be afraid to put it on the line because they feel like that they have too much to lose against somebody that don't have, you know, a huge name in the sport. So he's in this position right now to where he's like, okay, the only way I put all of this, you know, these praise and all of this, you know, shit on the line is I got to be in a fight that's mega, mega big like a Canelo Alvarez. That's it. That's the only way I'm going to put this shit on the line. I got to be in a fight like a Canelo Alvarez. I'm not fighting no Jaron Ennis. That shit too dangerous. I'm not gonna fight no Jaron Ennis. That's too dangerous. Cassandra, can you do me a favor? You do me a favor? The dude B Die Sloan, can you block him and get him up out of here? I don't like talking. I can't. I don't even like people in my chat that don't know shit about boxing and that just like to come through channels and troll. Can you get his ass up out of here? Matter of fact, I'll get him up out of here. Get him up out of here. Hold on. Talking about Jaron Ennis is afraid of Blair Cobb. We don't do troll shit over here. Yeah, you gone. Bye. Now go and make another. Now go and make another account and then come back with that dumb shit. So I mean, but you know what I'm saying? But that's what I see. Like I see that he not willing to put it on the line. He's satisfied. He got one big win. He got one big win on his resume, and he's satisfied. Now, like I said, can he fight? Yeah, he could fight. But he not willing to put that shit on the line because Jaron Ennis is too fucking dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Ennis is too dangerous. Y'all can pretend like, oh man, it ain't that man and Ennis and it. Yeah, we know what it is. We know what it is. It's energy different when it comes to Ennis. That energy is different. That energy is different when it comes to Jaron, and he's not gonna put it on the line versus Jaron Ennis. I know that, he know that, and everybody know that. Everybody know that shit. He ain't gonna put that shit on the line versus Boots. Now, he may give Errol Spence a rematch, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because, hey, like I said before, EJ, he deserved a rematch because that's what they signed up for. He won a rematch. Now, in that fight, it's up to Errol Spence to prove to me that he can beat Bud Crawford. 100% that he can beat Bud Crawford. But he ain't ready to put that shit on the line against Boots. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah. So that's why he's talking about Canelo. Yeah, I want a Canelo because I want a cash out fight. I don't want to put and the only way, right? The only way I put this shit on the line, if it's a fight that it's a win-win situation for myself. To where if I lose against Canelo, well, they gonna say that I went for greatness. I went up 3-weight division, and you know they ain't gonna give me no slack for that shit. As long as I go out there and put up a fight, you know what I'm saying? They still gonna consider me the best 147-pounder, the best this and best that. So it's a win-win situation for me. And I get a whole lot of money if I fight Canelo. If I fight Boots, I get less money. And the chances of me losing to Boots dramatically increases. The chances of me losing dramatically increases. I'm not putting it on the line. So my question is, do he 100% believe that he can beat Boots? Because I know Steven Espinoza, he said that he wanted Terence Crawford and Boots to fight. That's the fight that Espinoza said he wanted. He said he wanted Boots and Bud. What's the problem? What's the problem? Yeah, I know. Y'all don't want to talk about that, huh? And so all of the Bud fanatics, y'all running, oh man, we got all these new Boots fans. All these new Boots. I've been a fan of Boots. Drico Bay, you came your ass in here, and you the same nigga that I set up on the panel on this panel, right? You set up on this panel with me when I told you before Errol Spence and Terence Crawford ever fought each other, I told you that I had Jaron Boots beating Terence Crawford. But now all of a sudden, it's where all these new Boots fans come from. So because you're a fan of one fighter, you can't be a fan of another fighter. So are we supposed to hate Jaron Ennis? We supposed to not be fans of Jaron Ennis? Because the last time I checked, it's called boxing, right? And we supposed to be boxing fans. And Jaron Ennis is a boxer. He is a fighter. Big Dog Willie says, to be honest, if I was Bud, I'm 36 years old, about to retire. Shit, my next and last fight is Canelo. Well, that's what Bud is saying. But my point is, stop pretending like Jaron Boots Ennis had a chance to fight you and he ducked you and running with that narrative, because it's a lie. The truth is that you don't want to put all of the praise. You're on top of the mountain right now. You don't want to put all of that on the line versus a young, hungry lion like Jaron Ennis. That's it. It ain't no in between. There ain't no gray areas. That's what it is. Money say, Bud not getting Canelo. Stop that dumb talk. See, Money, we know that, right? So if Bud Crawford, so for all of the Bud fanatics, right? All the Bud Crawford fanatics, and like I said, he a hell of a fighter. Hell of a fighter. Can't take nothing away from him. He's a great fighter. But if Terence Bud Crawford is not willing to fight Jaron Ennis, he is not going to get a Canelo Alvarez fight, and he's not willing to give Errol Spence his rematch, who does he fight next? Answer that question, right? Since y'all doing a lot of typing and shit, answer that question. Who is he going to fight next? He ain't getting a Canelo fight next. He ain't going to get no Canelo fight. He not getting a he don't want to fight Jaron Boots Ennis. And he doesn't want to fight. Like I said, from what we know, I don't know 1,000% that he's not gonna fight Errol Spence, but from what he said, from what it sounds like, he sounded like he don't want to fight Errol Spence next. He don't want to give him his rematch. So who does he fight next? First of all, Malachi Walker, the channel that you own is Everything Boxing, right? You came in here and said that Cat said that Jaron Boots Ennis can't cut the ring off and all of that. Well, I don't know what Cat said. You talking to me. I didn't say that. I ain't never said nothing like that. So I can't speak for what everybody else is saying. Like I said, once again, I've been on record before Jaron Ennis and Errol Spence ever fought. I've been on record telling y'all that I did not think that Terence Crawford would ever fight Jaron Ennis. And I told everybody that I got Boots Ennis over Bud Crawford. Now, of course, in order to know who win the fight, we got to see the fight. But I've been saying that shit. This ain't nothing new. So once again, if he can't get a Canelo fight because he's not, if he said he don't want to fight Jermell Charlo no more because that's off the table, I'm telling you what he said. If he refusing to fight Jaron Ennis, and if he telling Errol Spence the rematch is done with, it ain't gonna be no rematch, who does he fight next if he don't retire? If he not retiring, who does he fight next? Can y'all answer that for me? Benzo says Virgil Ortiz at 154 or Tim Tszyu. Well, make that shit make sense to me because Virgil Ortiz nor Tim Tszyu is bigger than Jaron Ennis. So why would I don't think that he's gonna fight neither one of them, right? But it doesn't make sense that he would even be willing to fight a Virgil Ortiz or Tim Tszyu if he's not willing to fight Jaron Ennis. That don't even make sense. Like, Bud was always talking about these other fighters didn't want to fight him because they was making excuses. They were saying that it was stepper size of the streets and it was all type of excuses when it came to him. But when it comes to Jaron Ennis, I'm hearing and seeing the same energy from Bud. Like, let's just keep it a buck. When it comes to Jaron Ennis, I'm hearing and seeing the same energy from Terence Bud Crawford. Big Dog Willie says Jermell Charlo is his last option. Well, like I said, Big Dog, I'm just going off of what Bud said. Bud said he didn't want to fight Jermell Charlo. He says that fight is off the table now because how Jermell Charlo looked and that Jermell Charlo was no longer undisputed. That's what he said. See, Terence Bud Crawford, if he fights Jaron Ennis, not only could he shut everybody the fuck up, right, that has any doubt in their heart about him, he could become two-time. He could become two-time undisputed, well, three-time undisputed world champion. Three-time undisputed. Not only can he shut everybody the fuck up if he go fight Jaron Ennis and beat him, he become three-time undisputed. Because, see, they stripped him of the IBF. He'd come right back and get it and become three-time undisputed and at the same time shut everybody up. And at the same time fight a young, hungry lion that ain't nobody else willing to lay it on the line against. If Bud Crawford did that to me, and I'm not speaking for nobody else, to me, that's even bigger. Like, to me, like you already beat Errol Spence. So, I mean, you know, if you beat Errol Spence again, people just go say, well, you already did that, right? And I'm not taking nothing away from EJ because EJ deserved his rematch. But I'm just saying, if Bud did that shit, I'll put my right hand on the Bible and tell you that I'll say, nobody fucking with him. Like, ain't nobody fucking with him, right? And I probably would tell you that if he was in the same era with Floyd Mayweather, Floyd wouldn't fuck with him. If Bud did that shit, like, for real, like, I'll be running around here acting like these Bud fanatics do when it comes to bringing his name up. That's some real shit. Because that's, to me, beating the young Jaron Ennis, to me, is like, you know, one of them young vets, if they had been able to come in the game and beat a young up-and-coming Roy Jones or something like that. Like, that shit would be some legendary shit. Legendary shit. Real talk. Like, to me, yeah, Terence Crawford has all the accolades you could get, but he ain't done no legendary shit to me yet. Now, he go and do that after putting on the performance that he did against Errol Spence and then beat the young, hungry nigga in the division that nobody won't smoke with, and you go and take care of that. Oh, yeah. That's all-time greatness. And can't nobody say nothing. And if anybody would try to fix their mouth to say anything about Bud Crawford after that, oh, I'm going to be right here for it. We could debate about that shit all day. But his energy ain't like that. He's not willing to do that. And Drico talking about he don't have nothing to prove. I mean, but like I said, we know what it is. Y'all running around acting like, you know what I'm saying, you just won the Powerball because he got one big win. He got one big win. One big win. And that fighter was a shell of himself. Let's just keep it a buck. That fighter was a shell of himself. Drico Bay know he was a shell of himself. Drico Bay, you know Errol Spence was a shell of himself because you was the one running around clowning, talking about he'll never be that nigga with the shag again. You were saying that, Drico Bay. You were saying that, Errol. See, you see how all of the running your mouth that y'all did came back to hunt you? It was niggas like you that was running around saying that Errol Spence would never be the same. That Errol Spence would never be that nigga with the shag again. That Errol Spence, he was damaged goods. That he was a drunk and he was an alcoholic. And he ruined his best years. Nigga, you said that shit. I didn't say it. You said it. And you bitch ass nigga, this ain't no motherfucking LDBC channel. You fuck ass nigga, and get this fucking retarded faggot up out of my chat. Get this retarded faggot up out my chat. Stupid motherfucker. Anytime you see somebody black, you know what I'm saying? Anytime you see somebody black on YouTube, all of a sudden you come with that weird ass Wakanda LDBC shit. Weird ass nigga. Yeah, you don't see. I don't want to call you what I can't call you what I would call you if this motherfucking camera wasn't on off and I was off air. You know what I'm saying? I can't call your ass what I would call your motherfucking redneck ass if this camera wasn't on and I was off air. But we gonna move it along. Motherfucking weirdo. Oh, he's black. He's in the LDBC. Wakanda. We know what the fuck that shit mean. But yeah, Drico, you said that shit, dog. You was the one. You was the one that said that. I ain't say that shit. And honestly, right? Honestly, Money Brown know this, right? I hate that Errol Spence was not 100%. I hate that he did have, you know what I'm saying? I don't even want to talk about the problems that he had going on, right? But it's not excuses he had going on what he had going on. Now, I'm not going to tell you that Errol Spence would have beat Terence Crawford ass if he was 100%, right? If he was the nigga with the shag, I can't tell you that because I don't know. Because he didn't fight him when he was at his best. He didn't go in the ring 100%, so I don't know what would have happened. So I'm not finna be one of them niggas that's gonna tell you, well, Errol would have did this and Errol would have did that, and if EJ was healthy, he would have beat the shit out of Bud. I'm not gonna say all of that, right? But I'm gonna stick to what we know. We know he wasn't healthy. So in order for everybody to shut the fuck up, all he got to do is go in there, beat Jaron Ennis ass if he can. And then what could anybody else say? Honestly, what could anybody else say if he beat the young gun that nobody else want to step up to the plate and fight Jaron Ennis? Jaron Ennis, they done stripped Terence Crawford of his IBF, gave it to Jaron Ennis. Y'all know what kind of statement that'll be if he came back, double back, took that nigga belt back from him, got his belt back from him, became undisputed again for the second time at 147, and then said, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I ain't got nothing else to do. I'm the best fighter that ever did it, and y'all can't say shit about it. That nigga can have all of the parades, man. You know what? I'll throw him a parade in my city if he did some shit like that. I'll throw a parade for the nigga in my city for him. Come on, man. Drico Bay said, yeah, you was yelling Boots' name for a while now. Yeah, so I don't know. I can't speak what everybody else is doing, but I've been and told niggas that, hey, before he fought Errol Spence, I said, Boots is the one for me. But I said I think Boots, you know what I'm saying? Boots beats him. Me and Money had a full out debate because Money was saying that Bud beats Boots. And I was saying that Boots beat Bud because I said that when you look at Jaron Ennis, to me, the only thing Terence Bud Crawford has over Jaron Ennis is experience. That's it. I don't look at I can't see nothing in the ring that Warriors boxing. That's experience. You saying Boots ain't been tested yet like that? Well, we got to stop saying that because if you compare Jaron Ennis's last opponent, Vila. Like let's just keep it real. Is Vila better than David I've been sneezing? I would have to say absolutely. Right? He beat Speedy Rashidi Ellis, and Speedy Rashidi Ellis is a better fighter than David I've been sneezing. Is Vila better than Jose Benavidez? I would have to say yes. Vila is better than Jose Benavidez. Is Vila better than motherfucking Julius Ndongo? I would have to say yes, he's better than Julius Ndongo. Is he better than the Jeff Horn? I would have to say yeah, he better than Jeff Horn. Is he better than Now I don't know. I would say that this is what I'll say, right? I would say that looking at Vila fight and looking at somebody like Mean Machine, I would say they pretty much on the same level, right? I would say that Vila and Green Machine, they got a lot of similarities, and I would say that they pretty much on the same level. When I look at both of those fighters fight, I've seen them fight multiple times. I think that Vila is on the same level as somebody like a Green Machine, a Kavalauskas, right? So when you say that Boots ain't been tested, you can't really say that. It's that everybody that he fights like a Vila, he make them look like nobodies. So if you're going to say that Vila is a bum, well, the rest of them motherfuckers that Terence Crawford fought, they had to be bums too, besides Sean Porter. Right? So if you're going to say, this is what y'all are saying. If y'all are saying, oh, well, because see what you do is now all of a sudden Vila is a bum, right? See, Vila was a motherfucker. Vila was dangerous and all that shit before Jaron Ennis fought him, right? When he beat up Speedy Rashidi Ellis, Vila was dangerous and everybody was talking about, oh man, that dude's a motherfucking problem. Then Jaron Ennis go and beat the dog shit out of him. Now all of a sudden he's a bomb. But he's the same level fighter is Igis Kavalauskas. Like, so this y'all be on some clown shit. For real. But anyway. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, right? Anyway, y'all are trying to disguise the fact that your favorite fighter, Terence Bud Crawford, which, if that's your favorite fighter, hell of a favorite fighter. Hell of a fighter. But see, y'all trying to disguise the fact that Bud don't want to fight him. And y'all trying to disguise the fact that why Bud does not want to fight Jaron Ennis is because he's too dangerous. And Bud Crawford is not willing to put all the praises on the line that he's getting, everything that people are saying that he is, he's not willing to put it on the line against a fighter like Jaron Ennis. He's just not. He ain't. Straight up and down. He's not. And Malachi says it's the money. Well, this is the thing, Malachi. When it came to Jaron Boots Ennis, it was a no. It wasn't, well, if they can pay me enough, I'll fight him. It was an absolute no. He didn't say nothing about if they can pay me enough or we can make it happen. Because if it's the money, what fighters do, they let you know right off the rip, well, yeah, I'll fight him. If they gonna make the money right, we can make it happen. It was an absolute no, because it ain't the money. It ain't about the money. It's about what he has to put on the line, and he's not willing to put that shit on the line because Jaron Ennis is too dangerous. It is what it is. He's too dangerous. And in order to fight, in order for him to step in the ring with anybody, it got to be somebody that he know that he gonna beat, or it got to be somebody like Canelo to where he like, okay, it's a win-win situation. If I lose, they still gonna praise me for going out there and taking the chance, and I'm gonna make a whole lot of money doing it. They're not gonna look at me no different if I lose to Canelo. If I lose to Jaron Ennis, you know what comes with that? Internet trolls. He was a fraud anyway. And I'm not saying this, right? I'm not about to be running around saying no shit like that, because if you lose to Jaron Ennis, I'm still going to give you props. I'm still going to praise you, right? I'm still going to praise you because you was willing to put it on the line. You were willing to put it on the line. I'm not no fucking internet troll, but he knows that the internet trolls is coming. The criticism is coming. He wasn't this. He wasn't that. He ain't never fought nobody anyway. He was a fraud. You know, soon as he step up and fight somebody that's 100% healthy and that's in their prime, he loses to him. Oh, that's coming. Y'all was running around talking about he was the greatest this and that, and he ain't that. That's coming. And Bud know that's coming. He ain't willing to put his O on the line for all of that. And it ain't just Bud. Like I said, most of these fighters, they not built like that today. They not willing to put all of that on the line because of what comes with that if you lose. But that lets me know that in the back of his mind, he know it's a big possibility that he could lose to Jaron Ennis. He know that Jaron Ennis is a version, right, that could do everything he can, and most of the shit he could do better. Real talk. And he ain't willing to prove me wrong. He not willing to prove anybody else wrong that's been calling for this fight. And that's it. So y'all can talk all the shit that you want. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. Ain't nothing we could do about it. It ain't like we gonna get the fight. So that's just my word against yours. We ain't gonna get the fight. But my word hold more weight because he not willing to prove that shit. Steven Espinosa told y'all that's the fight that they want. Malachi says that we all thought Spence was in tip-top shape. Bud was willing to fight him, Brody. Let's promote the Saudi. Let's promote that Saudi gets a hold of that fight, bro. Well, this is the thing, right? Nobody, me, Money Brown, nobody thought that Errol Spence was that nigga with the shag no more, right? And it made it worse. And I was talking about this shit. So you can rewind the tape back. Drico Bay know I was talking about this, right? It made it worse because I was talking about all of the layoffs that Errol Spence had leading up to the Terence Crawford fight. That was a problem. You cannot have a 15-month layoff. Come back and fight Danny Garcia, have another 15-month layoff, right? Come back, fight Ugas, and then have a 16-month layoff. You cannot continue to do that, right? And that's one of the things when me and Drico Bay, he's a huge Terence Crawford fan. Rock with Bud, heavy. That's one of the things that me and him was talking about. I said, man, it's going to be a problem. So, nah, man, I can't say that I thought he was. Now, I didn't know that he was going into the fight with no injuries. I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, man, I knew something was wrong with Errol Spence. And I knew I had heard from his partner down in Dallas that he had. No, I didn't know none of that. But I felt that all of the layoffs and everything that he had been through was going to affect him. And we seen it, man. We seen it, man. Before I go, honestly, right? All lies aside, let's just be honest. Everybody in the building, before I shut this live stream down, I want to ask everybody in the building, right? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that Errol Spence was the same fighter that he was when he fought Lamont Peterson. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that Errol Spence was not the same fighter that he was when he fought Lamont Peterson. So, Drico, I said be honest, dog. So, Drico, you telling me that everybody putting the 2 in the chat, right? So, Drico, you telling me that you're being honest and you telling me that you think, Drico, you stupid as hell. Drico say the same social security number, same fighter. Hey, Drico trying to be funny, but for real, put a 1 in the chat if you think that Errol Spence was on the same level that he was when he fought Lamont Peterson. Put a 2 in the chat if you think that he wasn't that same fighter no more. Drico said, nah, he wasn't the same fighter. And this ain't to take nothing away from Bud Crawford, because Bud might have still would have beat that Errol Spence. Let's keep it real. Bud may have beat that Errol Spence, but the fact is that we didn't get to see that. So we basically unanimously, everybody is saying that, yeah, he wasn't the same fighter. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the same fighter. And that sucks for Terence Bud Crawford, because we still haven't got to see him in there. Let's just keep it a buck, you know what I'm saying? And this is no hate to Terence Crawford. But to me, it take away from his potential greatness. It take away from his greatness. I'm not even going to say potential, right? It takes away from Bud Crawford's greatness, because it sucks that we never got to see him in the ring against a fighter of that level when he was still in his prime, when that other fighter was still in his prime. Like, for real, that shit takes away from Bud Crawford. It doesn't matter how you try to chalk it up. Doesn't matter how you try to, you know what I'm saying, sugarcoat it, but it really does take away from Terence Crawford's greatness right now. Now, if he retired 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, it probably won't, because people tend, and other boxing fans that come, and all you're going to see is what's on his box rack, right? And most people going to be and forgot about the ins and the outs that took place. People not going to be looking and say, okay, well, he fought Errol Spence and Errol Spence wasn't in his prime no more. And then he fought Sean Porter and Sean Porter was about to retire. People not going to look at that shit 15, 20 years from now and say that, because we beat him, forgot. But right now, it sucks because it take away from his greatness. If we don't know actually how great he is, right? You got to give him all the credit in the world, but deep down, I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Deep down, we still don't know how great he really is. He could be way greater than I think he is. Or he could just be, you know, a great fighter that you know was beatable. But he ain't willing to show everybody. He's not willing to show everybody, because I believe that we got somebody in Jaron Ennis that he could shut everybody up if he get in the ring against him, and he ain't willing to do that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, like I said, he's still a hell of a fighter. He's still a hell of a fighter. My opinion is his energy is different when it comes to Jaron Ennis. Let's see which one of these niggas is going to step up and fight Jaron Ennis. Real talk. Let's see which one. I don't even know if Errol Spence at this point in his career, right, if he could still fight at 147, would be willing to step up and put it on the line against Boots Ennis. I don't know. I'm not saying he won't. I'm not saying he would. But this is the type of shit that we get when it's a hungry lion that kicked down the door and he looking unbeatable. Now, I'm not saying he unbeatable. I'm saying he looking like that. But if he beat Boots money, who the fuck can say anything? Can't nobody say nothing. He proved everybody. I'm him. You know what I'm saying? John Kramer said, you ain't finna hit Boots with no jab and he go down. Like I said, you go in there and you shut everybody up. Everybody, you shut them up. Because now, if you beat Jaron Boots Ennis, you got one more fight, Terence Crawford. And who wouldn't call if Bud beat Jaron Boots Ennis? Who wouldn't call for Bud to fight Canelo? He beat Jaron Boots Ennis. It's like, bro, you deserve that Canelo fight. You beat Jaron Ennis, you deserve that Canelo fight. But right now, you only got that one fight that really hold weight on your resume. Real talk. And that fight, and you did your thing in that fight, but the other fighter showed up. The other fighter didn't show up like he was supposed to show up in that fight. He knew he was fucked up going in that fight, and he showed up to get a bag. Let's just keep it a buck. And EJ, that's my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm always gonna ride with EJ. I fuck with him, but you showed up to put in work, and he knew he was fucked up, and he showed up to get a bag. But come on, man, let's just keep it real, bro. Like this is to Errol Spence. EJ, I know that you didn't. You know what I'm saying? They had been sitting you had been sitting on the shelf, and you couldn't really afford to pull out of that fight with Bud Crawford. Right? He couldn't really afford to pull out of the fight with Bud Crawford. Then nobody would have wanted to watch the fight again. Everybody would have been on his helmet saying that he was scared. We know all of that. But EJ, let's just keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. Errol Spence, coming off a 16-month layoff, having broken ribs and having to get shots in your ribs, you know what I'm saying, for 6 weeks or a month leading up to the fight, not being able to spar, knowing you had cataracts. Bro, you knew you wasn't finna go in the fucking fight and beat Terence Crawford. Like, come on, let's just keep it a buck. You knew you didn't have no chance of going in there, beating Terence Crawford. All that going on, and then coming off a fucking long-ass 16-month layoff. When Bud just had fought. Just had fought in December. Come on, dog. Let's stop all of the going back and forth. That man knew he ain't had no chance of hell of going in there beating Bud Crawford. Major League, man, he didn't trick me into bet no motherfucking money. Because I called Money Brown the day of the fight, and Money Brown just commented above yours, and I told Money that EJ is going to lose. I told him, I said I had a dream that he lost, and he got beat up bad. And I told him that he going to lose the fight, dog. Money, did I not tell you that? Money. Let him know, because these niggas always want to come in here with the laughing emoji. Dude, y'all bet money. Bruh, how the fuck you know what I bet and what I didn't bet? I had, and not only you, right? I had people all through my motherfucking channel. How you lost money? How do you know what I bet and I didn't bet? I told everybody he's gonna lose the fight the day of the fight. But the fact is like, come on, dog. Come on, EJ. You know what I'm saying? Come on, EJ. Right, Drico. You know what I'm saying? We did a whole live stream that saying the night of the fight or the next morning. I told everybody, I said, yeah. My cousin called me right before the fight because he was laughing, talking about that EJ was high as hell when he was walking into the fight and he was in the locker room. And I told my cousin, I said, yeah, he gonna lose, dog. I said, I just had a dream. You know what I'm saying? I had a dream and he got beat up bad. He gonna lose. You know, and motherfuckers was laughing and shit. Say, yeah, you know. But like I said, I used to dream fights when I was a kid. I used to do that shit when I was a kid. But anyway, you know, whatever. Money said, we know what we said on the phone. Right. Absolutely. But man, yeah, EJ, man, come on. Now that I'm looking at the whole situation and we know everything now, like, come on, man. EJ, you know good so goddamn well you wasn't gonna win that fight, dog. When y'all shook hands at the weigh-in and Terence Crawford was talking about beating your ass and you talking about, yeah, we gonna make a whole lot of money though, you knew then that you wasn't gonna win that fight. Now, you is a dog. You still went in there and you laid it on the line. And you know, I gotta give that shit to you, man, because you showed everybody you was a dog. But dog, you knew you weren't gonna win that fight. Now, I you know, that does he should still get his chance. You know, he should still get his chance to run it back. Money Brown says he's going live tonight. Let everybody know what time you're going live tonight. He said he's gonna piggyback off this topic. He said, and Money said he had Bomac on the next day. Yeah, Money did have Bomac on that very next day after the fight. Bomac came through, and you know, Money had Bomac on. But I'm just looking at the situation. I'm like, God damn, dog. Yeah, dog. And so back to what Major League was saying. Yeah, a lot of niggas lost money because while Errol Spence was going in that motherfucking ring and he knew he ain't have a chance really to win that fight because he was a shell of himself. He was just, he was going like, okay, yeah, I'm going to get a bag regardless. A lot of niggas lost a whole lot of money. And niggas is mad about that shit. I wasn't one of them, thankfully. I thank God that, you know, I had that dream because I ain't going to lie to y'all. I was going to put money on Errol Spence. If I hadn't had that dream, I was going to put money on him. I'm not going to sit up here and lie and act like that I wasn't going to bet on him. I didn't think he was going to win. Yeah, I was going to put money on that shit. You know what I'm saying? I was sure was going to put some money on EJ if I hadn't had that dream. And that was God's way of letting me know, sit the fuck down and don't put shit on nothing. That was God. In my bad. I didn't want to cuss. Excuse me. I shouldn't have been cussing, you know, using the Lord's name, but that was the Lord's way of letting me know, yeah, you need to sit down and don't put no money on this fight. But yeah, man, anyway, I appreciate everybody coming through. You know, this is just my opinion. Make sure that y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all get the likes up. It's free to hit the like button. It don't cost nothing. I appreciate everybody. I will. Money Brown gonna be live tonight cooking. So make sure that everybody go and peep Money Brown. Make sure that everybody go to Money Brown show tonight. I don't think he put the time that he going on. He didn't put the time, but make sure that y'all check, you know, put your notifications on so you can check out Money. And we definitely had a good show. I appreciate everybody. Malachi in the building, man. Drico came through. I ain't seen Drico in a minute. Everybody came through, support the channel, everybody that commented. I appreciate y'all, and y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. And I'm gone, y'all. Appreciate y'all.